The internet told me Lucas will cure this problem. Oh.
It sounds like it's gonna fall out.
I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, Italian tuna.
That doesn't sound good.
You just hearing things. 4.3 liter V6, they're bulletproof. I think it's probably just this blower fan down here. These Chevy 4.3 V6s are pretty bulletproof. This thing just, she's running like crap, but still fires on all six, grinds, knocks, smokes. She just won't die. For some reason my frame's a little lower. My fuel truck has a blown engine in it. It's not very reliable. My Summerfeld is greening up quick. I've only got 5 days to convert this truck into a truck bed trailer. Are we gonna make it? You just got to get this cab and stuff off of the frame so you can get to the frame and cut it. I'm probably going to try to save the hood. I've already traded out the door. That door's junk. That's going to the scrapyard. I let a buddy have my other one. I'll probably take the passenger side door. I kind of have trouble. If anything's still decent, I just can't see it crushed, you know? Somebody out there is trying to save one of these. They might be able to use those parts. Take this door off. There's only 2 hinge pins down here. I'm going to use my cherry picker because I got it out, taking the engine out. I'm just going to zip tie it here because I love zip ties. You can use a floor jack. That's kind of sketchy. It likes to fall off. Don't ask me how I know. Best bet is to get a buddy, hold this into the door, while you knock those 2 pins out. Now you can see the hinge pins here. One's upside down. This one goes up. We're going to take the top one off first. Take a small little hammer that can fit in there. Get it all the way. Yeah, oh, it's a good spring. Keep that. This would be the part where you tell your buddy, lift the door, it's in a bind. Lift it, no, higher, lower. God, are you lifting? All right, that's it. Now this window, it's in pretty good condition. Probably not worth saving. Probably no one in the right mind would save it, but it doesn't have any big chips or anything. I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to auto glass, but I watched somebody put one in one time. So what we're going to try is we're going to cut the rubber, because I'm pretty sure they did that. And then we're just going to push it out from the inside. I thought that's what held it in. Maybe it's not. Oh no! I think that looked a lot easier in the movies. If your escape plan involves kicking out the front window, get a new escape plan. Well, apparently every windshield doesn't install the same way you do on a Chevy Love. Who could have guessed? But I watched the video because I was like, man, I am way off. And they have a kind of a tool that's kind of like, it kind of up under, because there's a seal under here and it separates it, and then I don't have that tool, so. Look at it. This hood is kind of, it's not as pristine as I thought. Dang it. It's now evening number 2. Plan for today is to take off the fenders, pull the engine, the transmission. Hopefully all that's left is the cab. And I'm not really sure how we're going to get that off yet. I've already stripped a number of parts for salvage, for keep, or for sale. To jack up the front of the truck, you got to find a nice secure spot, something that'll support the load of the truck. We picked this. It looks to be fiberglass reinforced, so it ought to be just perfect. You guys remember when I accidentally bent the frame on this truck? We're going to straighten her out really quick. pretty much brand new. In all seriousness, you do want to be very careful putting these on jack stands. When you're going to get underneath there, you do not want this thing coming down on you. It'll kill you. I mean, like dead. D-E-D. So I always like this. Now these fenders are pretty easy to remove. You just remove every bolt that's holding them on. Probably better just take the tire off. Then you aren't fighting it. This thing is connected with a lot of bolts. Cover. These have ram air, cold air intakes. That's an intake there. It's got a little plastic deal there that goes right into the cold air intake. Take that K&N. Before removing the engine or transmission, remove the shifter first. It doesn't work very good when you do it after. One time I forgot. Oh, I forgot to take the fucking shifter off, boys. How in the flying did I do that? The transmission like this, and I was like, man, it's kind of stuck. Like, what's the deal? And then I got in there, and the damn shift fork was jammed in and jammed against the floor, and I didn't have any room to jack up the truck, and then I had to try to get the unbolt it while it was jammed in. If you like to spill as much fluid as possible all over your garage floor when you're pulling engine, go ahead and skip this step. I think I'm the idiot that put that on last. I bought this truck for the engine and the transmission. Well, I think the transmission's still good. The engine's not faring too well. She's a little smoky. That's not too bad. Gotta be a mint transmission for the old love. Now when I try to shift under acceleration, that's not cool. People don't think you're cool when you're grinding gears. Getting stuff like 50 yards away. Look at that. What the heck? Huh. Oh. Sakes. You guys ever used pee pads before? The answer is probably yes. Better if you put them the other way and catch it coming down. But, you know, away she goes. Put more pee pads down. That's how you know it's game time. Day 3. I have 2 days left. I only have 1 hour this evening because I farted around and burned up my whole evening. Cab's coming off tonight. That's for sure. Maybe mark out the frame. Maybe cut it. Maybe, you know, well, maybe I'll practically be done tonight. No. Basically, looks like there's just 4 cab bolts under here. So, I got my safety strap in here, utilizing what we have. Should be about the center of mass there, I'm thinking. I don't know what that strap's rated for. You guys didn't think that was going to work, did you? I didn't either. Day 4, got about 8 hours left to get this thing done. Oh. Before we start cutting on the frame or anything, gotta get this fuel tank out of here, and it's full of gas. Using this because it makes less spark, but it also sucks. As far as marking out and cutting your frame, you'll have to remember one thing. That's all the trigonometry you need to figure this out. I read up on these hitches a little bit. Most of them are 50 degrees. We'll go ahead and double check that angle. Time. All you gotta do is measure the opening here. Now we can't just measure it here, because as you can see, it does not go to a point. We want to continue this line straight up. To use our trigonometry, SOHCAHTOA, we need a right angle triangle. This is not a right angle triangle. This is right angle, just means 90 degrees or square. So we need half, that equals 5 inches, which this angle equals 2x of this angle. As it's split in half. We want to find, we have opposite and adjacent. That is TOA. To get the angle, we use inverse tangent. It's in your calculator, don't worry about it. Opposite, 5, over adjacent, 10. 26.5 degrees, which is pretty close to the advertised 50. That could be an error in our measurement, or it could just be manufacturing. Now that we got our target angle, we can figure out how long we need to cut this rail. First, we need to identify where we want to start our transition. This will be the hypotenuse. It'll go like that, just like our hitch. They'll both come to a point. We got our width and we've got our angle. That means we can figure the length of the hypotenuse. I'm gonna cut mine right next to this brace, fold it under, and that'll give me a nice strong place to re-weld it. The overall width is about 45.5. We have an angle, opposite, and we're trying to find hypotenuse. So 25 degrees, 53.8 inches. Let's see what it is. So we can probably get away with 51 to 53 inches. I can be about 3 inches off of my calculated length here. So my range is, say, 51 to about 48. If we measure right to this seam where it welds into that new tube, that's about right at my minimum of 48. So I'm just gonna cut right there. I want my hitch height to be about 16.5 inches there. So we actually aren't gonna mount it on top of the frame. We're gonna come in here. Today's the last day, as always, right on schedule. All we have left is a little detail work, touching up the frame, welding the whole thing together, basically building the whole trailer, but it'll be fine. Well, since we had so much extra time, we're gonna go ahead and lop these extra brackets and that stuff off. We're gonna get this wire brush and ready for paint. Can't have a trailer tongue looking like this. We're gonna go ahead and mark this frame where we're gonna cut it here. We're gonna use that line, but then we're gonna come back here, go up like that. We need approximately 7 3/4 inches. We want to notch it straight up and down, both the bottom flange and the top flange. You don't want to notch the webbing at all. We're going to go ahead and cut the bottom side first. Now I'm going to cut with the cutoff wheel because the plasma will make a rough cut and it'll make it harder to weld to have to grind it. We're going to leave probably about an 1/8 to a 1/4 inch gap in there, mainly in the corner, so when it folds back it's not binding up, so we can fold it nice and easy. Hopefully just do a cold fold by hand. I think we'll have enough leverage, we'll be able to do it without heating it up. If you don't want your trailer to pull off to the side of your truck when you're pulling it down the road, you need to center your hitch with the rear axle. You don't want it off sides. To do that, you can just measure from one tire and then measure from the other tire. As long as you're measuring from the same point and you get the same distance to the ball, you're good. Now, I used a laser. I got the laser centered on the center bolt. The differential is not offset. I did measure it. Used this fastener on the drum, and I set the laser on the edge of it. And I set the laser on the edge of that to square it straight with the rear axle, so that laser shoots straight forward. Now up here you can see my laser is hitting that center about the jack hole there. Also pretty close to being centered on the ball, close enough. Now you could end up with a situation where your ball's on and this is off because your frame will be this way but this will be that way. It'll still pull straight, but your frame will be kind of goofy.
Messages, they never end. That's a whole lot of messages for just a friend. Oh no, had a feeling I knew what I find. You met up with Veronica late last night. You had a bit of Elena on the side. Was chatting up Anita all last week. And now you're doing Nina. How'd you even meet her? Hitting on Bianca, are you dumb? Got with Alexandra and her mom. You're telling every girl they drive you mad. Yeah, you're calling me the psychopath.
Now we're gonna make a plate for here and here. So I just gotta mark these up.
I'm the psycho. I'm the psycho. Oh, I'm the psycho. I'm the psycho. Oh, I'm the psycho. Oh no, you got to be kidding.
Now all we got to do is tap into the stock truck wiring for taillight. They're the same exact colors as you get on a standard trailer plug here. Now the white is ground. I went ahead and used one of the fuel pump wires and grounded it out. Now when you use shrink connectors, it's kind of nice to offset them because then you can fit them in a tighter package. I am literally out of time. I've already primed the tongue. I'm going to finish painting it. I'm going to paint it black. We're going to paint the bed there. I'm going to scuff it up with a Scotch-Brite pad, and then I'm going to wipe it down with acetone, and then we're just going to rattle can it. Yesterday was officially my last day to get this thing done. I stayed up late last night and I didn't get it painted, so I got to try to slam and just get this thing painted really quick this morning. I got to go out. I got to be out running tractor right now. You see my... do a few final touches to really notch up that street cred. I've never built a trailer, or a truck bed trailer for that matter, and it turns out it's actually pretty easy. I'd recommend if it's something you've been thinking about, you got an old clapped out truck in your backyard, you've been saying you're going to do something with, part it out or whatever, go ahead and make it into a trailer. Hardest part's getting all the truck parts off the front, and that really just, I mean, I did it with a cherry picker, so you can figure out a way, get a skid steer, tie it to another truck, wrap a chain through the cab, and just send her all the way. But really, if you're hesitating to build one, you got no excuses. I was able to do it. Tractor full of diesel fuel, it's time to get it. Time to get to work. Took me all of 10 seconds to realize that this jack isn't good for anything besides taking chunks out of the street. Junk! 20 seconds later, I discovered that when you go down rock roads, rocks fly up and hit this. So I put grain belting on the front here. It's a little unsightly, but you know, function over form. It totally protects that, and I put some on here because that gets hit with rocks as well.